There we go. Hi. I'm sorry. I didn't expect you there. I'm all flustered. I guess I'm not quite ready. All right. All right. There we go. Yeah. All set up here. Feels good. Feels real good. Hello. Glad to have you with me. It's Polly Tacos. Trying to make an excuse for the fact that I totally wasn't set up, but that's okay because yeah, I was watching Wayne's games till I kind of got lost in the sauce there. But we're here now. We are going to talk about some of that good. Yeah, I got some good content lined up for you. I was originally going to make this week kind of like all introductory streams, so like all uh, being like, "Hey, I'm Polly Tacos. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm into and my interest," and do like kind of a stream about each. But as the week went on, I did one stream and kind of introduced myself, and then I ended up not streaming at all yesterday. And there's just too much fun stuff to talk about today. So I think we're just gonna do some content, right? That's what we came here for. Oh, that's so small. Why is that so small? Okay. Um, yeah. Well, thank you for coming with me. The stream does say we're going to be talking about Joe Biden. We're going to be talking about a wild meeting that happened at the Oval Office in the waning days of the Trump presidency. That'll be the last thing we talk about, probably. I don't know. We'll see how long this train goes. We'll see how tired I get, how long we can actually stream here. Um, you'll know when my energy levels run out when I fall out and say goodnight. Okay. So yeah, first thing we're going to talk about today. If you're new to the channel, it's Polytacos. I like talking about the government and playing Magic the Gathering sometimes. And you know what? We'll start with a good story first. We'll start with a fun story that makes me happy. Um, we got to type. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sweet. Okay. All right. So yeah. So we got some Magic the Gathering is one of my it definitely is my favorite hobby. It's the hobby that gets the most of my time. I've drafted a couple times on stream, and I'm gonna definitely draft in the future. It's just a game that I really like. And if you're new to Magic, if you come to the stream for like political content normally, uh, it's a game that like has like kind of like a really competitive side, and then it has like kind of a casual side. And on the casual side, people play a version or a format of Magic called EDH, right? And in EDH, people really like tend to care more about like the art that's on their cards. Like they obviously want to play and win the game and do silly things and like pull off really good combos, and you're trying to beat your friends. That's the whole point of the game. But people who play Commander or EDH tend to care a little bit more about the art on the cards. They tend to have like alternate art cards. They go the bling. They have them blinged out or whatever. Um, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like Commander a lot, and it's kind of like a lot of Commander players. It's been put as they use it as the way they both build decks, and then the choices that they make and the art that they choose is almost like a form of self expression, right? And that's why like it's like like lots of Magic players like view Magic as a way to express themselves, but Commander is a space where it kind of gives players a little more freedom to do that. Why am I talking about Commander? Well, because basically Wizards has kind of leaned into um, catering to the Commander crowd recently, and when I say that, I mean that they've been printing cards directly to the customer. In what they call secret layer drops, and in these drops, they've been putting like normally when you buy Magic singles, you can buy them at your collect your local game store. But how Magic cards usually like get released into the world is that they're in these things called booster packs, and most of the time, booster packs are used for draft, where you like open a pack and you have so many cards basically in a limited pool of cards that you get out of these packs. Um, and you basically turn those cards into a deck and then play with it that night. Limited, that's how limited works. A draft is a little more complicated. You pass the cards around, but I'm not going to explain that right now. That's how cards normally get into the world, is through booster packs. Well, Wizards has started selling cards directly to the customer, and for the most part, those cards usually have some sort of like alternate art, or well, they all are alternate art. That's what all the cards are, and it seems to be appealing to or meant for Commander players mostly, because those are the people who tend to want the alternate art cards more than anybody else. Also, the nature of Commander is you only need one copy of each card, so it makes more sense that Commander players would be more into a product that has one single copy of each alternate art card. So, Commander players were well, a little miffed over the last year because Wizards has made some questionable choices about products sold directly to the Walking Dead secret layer. Some people didn't really like for a lot of reasons, and Commander Legends was a set that like kind of underwhelmed the general MTG audience. So Magic players in general, and also Magic players are obviously very depressed because we can't do the Gathering part of Magic the Gathering right now, and Magic players are kind of like looking for a reason to like be in a good mood and feel good about something, objectively good about something in Magic the Gathering. And we just had a set come out, and that set's got some problem combos in it already, but so like that really wasn't the feel good moment that Magic fans were looking for. And oddly enough, we got an announcement today that made me personally feel good, surprisingly good. Like I cared about this way more than I thought I was going to. But the announcement we got today, yeah. So basically, Magic let us know today that they are releasing a Black is Magic secret layer. It's going to be proudly supporting Black Girls Code, which is an organization that empowers girls of color in game design and other coding programs. So they didn't release the pricing of it yet. It's actually going to be called Secret Layer Black is Magic. They didn't release the pricing of this yet. I'm assuming it's going to be like $70 with like half of it going to Black Girls Code, because that's how they did the Extra Life fundraiser last year. They did a product where it was like, hey, because normally secret layers are only 30. So that's what it was. It was 60, not 70 after taxes and everything. It's so more than 70. But anyway, normally secret layers are like 20 to $30, and this one, the one that they did for the Extra Life, the kids charity, they charged 60, and they were like, hey, it's $30 for the secret layer that you're getting, but half of every purchase is going to go to this charity. And a lot of people moaned, me included, that it was kind of like, couldn't you just, you're a multi-billion-dollar company, couldn't you just like donate the proceeds to them without making your customer base pick up the bill? But it kind of felt like it kind of felt like they botched the easiest possible thing, but I'm fully anticipating them doing the same thing again because like people bought it, I bought it because I actually really liked that secret lair, and it was cute. So I fully expect them to go to do the same thing again, do $60 for a few cards with alternate art that I really like. But the cool thing is that obviously this is for Black History Month. We got the proceeds going to Black Girls Code, which is just an objectively cool organization. It's the artists who came up with the cards are actually our they're empowering Black artists. Each card is illustrated by Black artists who brought their unique art style to the drop. And Hernanda Souza interprets Shalai, voice of plenty, a guardian angel who protects and shields the people. Edgewai Edge Ebenemity? No, that was awful. I butchered that. It's Ebenembe. It's probably not it, but I tried. Gives ponder that honor the elders of the African spiritual tradition. And then Hillary Wilson, Danny Pendergast, Neo? Probably Neo? Kino? No, it's not Kino, but it could be Kino? Neo? What is, I'm not sure. I'm trying and failing, but all right. Thomas Zentero, Julia Rena will celebrate more aspects of the Black experience in addition to cards that will be revealed soon. So that, how many cards are they going to give us? So that's 7 cards total. That's actually more than your typical, oh, they've already got the price down here. Well, maybe scroll down to the bottom. It's going to be $50. That's surprising. Cool. Foil is going to be $50. Non-foil is going to be $40. Neat. Okay, cool. So yeah, we're going to get 9 cards, which is actually more than is in a typical secret lair. The thing about secret lairs is the cards that come in them. The original ones are not that expensive, right? Like, Shalai is like a $7 card. But yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the real reason, the real reason why I'm excited about this, and that is because of the actual artwork itself. So, this is the original Shalai. Okay, this is like kind of blown up. Her art, like, let's see if we can open it in a new tab. If it'll be any bigger, probably it's gonna be smaller. If I had to guess. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bigger. So yeah, this is Shalai. Okay. So like you're seeing this on a pretty big screen. I'm assuming you have you might be looking at this on a phone, but like if you can like the Angels of Dominaria are dark skinned, but like this, she doesn't, like, you can't see her face hardly, like, because her body's completely covered. And you also got to think too, this is normally on a tiny magic card that you're holding in your hand, so like you really can't read. I'm explaining this to tell you that I actually didn't know that Shalai was black. I didn't understand that. And also at the time I wasn't really getting into the lore of Dominaria that much, so like I didn't know that the Angels of Dominaria just happen to have dark skin, which is pretty neat. But yeah, so that's the original Shalai. And in fact, I actually thought Lyra read more as having darker skin than Shalai, right? Like, yeah, there's Shalai. Oh, that's tight. Dang, that's some good art. Cool. Yeah, well, you can tell if you actually like look up close. You can obviously tell, but you gotta think like that's normally on a magic card. You're not normally gonna see that. So, yeah, but I always thought Lyra read more of obviously black than Shalai. But so we got Shalai. Where was it? Boom. And then we got Shalai. right? Like, bruh. That's really cool. Let's see if I can find a better picture. Thought I had one up. Shall I? Yeah. 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 There it is. Yeah. 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 So that one's fuzzy for some reason. But yeah, Shalai, dude. Shalai. Like, that is so cool. That is an angel of fury. And the cool thing about this card, like functionally, is it's like a protection card. Like she's literally a guardian angel. Um, so like let's read it. Like creatures you control, like Shilai, voice of plenty, legendary creature angel, flying. You planeswalkers you control and other creatures you control have hexproof. That means basically nobody can fuck with your cards. Like they can't remove your spells, they can't target you with direct damage, they can't blow up your planeswalkers with targeted removal. Makes it the target removal is just shut down off your deck. And like this card, like that is that right there is your guardian angel. Like she's like floating above the earth, and she's got her long braid hair. That's tight. And like she's like float like protection, and like you've got this kind of it's that's supposed to be the ozone, but obviously it's like you're supposed to invoke like her, and she's like spreading her wings like past the frame, um like obviously she is protecting the earth, like she's a guardian angel in this picture. And it's like, Shalai, you planeswalkers and creatures you control have hexproof. But also, the card says 6 mana, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. So it's like protection, vengeance, or justice. Like seriously, like Shalai. You think Shalai is ready to call for unity? You think so? No, like that's so cool. Like she's like obviously just so much more in this picture. Is obviously you've got fire going on behind her, but like, man, I'm not an art person, but this is just like she's ready to fuck somebody up and lead an army, basically, is who this person is. And that's, I'm really here for that. Like it's cool that the art, um they re-released the art and it said something completely different, but also was relevant to the card, right? Also relevant to what the card did, which is really cool. And there's a hard balance to strike, I think, when you're making the art on it's for a game, it's like it's art that's on game pieces. And I think it's like really tough to actually like come up with stuff that's like really good. And yeah, I think they hit the mark with that one. And now I get to talk about the real reason I love this. Ye old Ponder. See, I already love Ponder, the card. Like it's a 1 mana blue sorcery that just says you get to look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order, and then you get to draw a card. Also, you can shuffle your library if you want, in between there. But the reason why I love this card is, and you can actually see this one okay in this picture, is it's just so adorable. Like, look at this. Like teaching a young mage like how and these 3 orbs are the original Ponder art. Like the original Ponder. Yeah. So one of the original Ponders is the well, no, not TCG player. Get out of here. We just want the image stamp. Yeah, but there we go. Yeah. So Ponder was like, this is the card. It's like the three moons, you know, and that's kind of like what people remember about Ponder. And there's other alternate arts that exist out there, but like that one still invokes the moon. And also I think like the positioning of the moon here too like makes me like feel like it's missing the others too, but that's just I don't know, it might just be just me. But yeah, this is the weird Ponder. No one likes this Ponder. I love this Ponder. It's the mermaid bikini Ponder. We don't talk about that one. We talk about the sophisticated Ponder. But yeah. So that's a that's a joke. I actually absolutely love this art on this Ponder. Because I just like the idea that merfolk kind of have merfolk, you know, obviously it makes sense flavor wise that they're blue, but I like the merfolk contemplation thing. But anyway, yeah, Ponder, you know, you get to look at three cards, you get to shuffle them away or put them back however you want. It's kind of like controlling the phases of the cards that are about to come up. Like, it's really cool art that that they used like the moons and it's a little bit on the nose that yes you're holding the fate in your hands, but like you know it's good. I like this art. Like it's a kind of like iconic Magic the Gathering art. But you get over here and you've got still like the invocation of the moon phases, right? But it's like passing on to so it's still it's like passing on to the next generation, right? Like in Iriel, is a very neat character that I kind of was a victim of underproduction when it comes to Magic the Gathering lore. Because, like, all she got, because Ikoria came out, the set, when Ikoria came out, um, it was just like basically uh, they did an ebook, I think. Yeah, they did an ebook, and they weren't doing like the mothership wasn't producing articles basically for Magic the Gathering lore at the time. So like kind of all the story we got was just like what was on the cards and then kind of like a little bit like a paragraph on the website. And it was, you know, it really suffered, I think, personally, just because like I think that um one of the things that people really like about Magic is that there's like a storyline that's going along with it. You know, like at least for me, at least for us, you know, like bringing back those commander players that play more casually. There's like I really do like the flavor and the lore of the characters of the game. You know, and um yeah, I just think that it's important uh that the cards still tell a story. And it's kind of a bummer that they sort of leaned away from actually telling that story, like through hard, you know, text, like actually like really telling the stories and like fully fleshed out like narratives. Thankfully, stories are back. They came back with Zendikar Rising, and then they continued with the new set Kaldheim. And it you know it's awesome. I'm so glad that lore's back, but would have been one of my favorite new characters recently. Riel kind of got uh shafted and forgotten about because she got like a paragraph or two online and that was it. But what little bit we got of Riel is like pure gold. So like finally I accidentally showed this picture like four times. Yeah, so this is Riel's original card, right? I absolutely love this card. First of all, she's carrying two huge tusk bones on around her neck, like and like a shell of another dinosaur on her back, and she's got like it describes the few paragraphs we did have her. It says that she's got mismatched clothes. Um, and yeah, it's another character that didn't read as black. I mean, when it's blown up like this, it does, but like not on a card that you normally see that's a normal card size. But what does Riel do? So Riel does, you know, Riel the Everwise gets +1/+0 for each instant or sorcery in your graveyard. Whenever you discard a card, one or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. So basically, every time you cast your first discard spell on each turn, um, you get to draw that many cards. And there's a lot of like red cards because this card's blue red. There's a lot of red cards that like want you to like draw and then discard or discard and then draw. So that just turns into pure draw spells, right? And that excites me as an Is It player because I like drawing cards a lot. But it's extra cool with this flavor too because her whole deal, she says, being all knowing is a matter of remembering which things it is crucial to forget. And so like it's really neat that like one, she gets more powerful the more instant or sorcery you've spent in your graveyard than in your past. So like more spells that she's cast and forgotten about, the more powerful she gets. And then two, when you discard spells, when you forget things, you gain more knowledge because she forgets things, but then like gains twice that knowledge back. Because like usually when you're discarding a spell, it's like on a draw spell. So she gets more powerful the more she forgets things, and I think that's really cool. I also think that like there's a low key kind of social justice. I hate that term, but I hate how it's been kind of perverted, but there's kind of like this sort of hidden message in the card, right? Like at least in the character, because being all knowing is a matter of remembering which things it is crucial to forget. Like I love that sentiment because it's really important for progress, right? Like we've got certain things in our society that we don't necessarily need to forget, but we need to leave behind. And like I think we need to like collectively, like when I say forget, I don't mean like erase history, like that. I don't want to feed any conservatives that way, but I mean like when I say like forget, I mean I want us to forget like how to be cruel to each other. Like I want us to forget like how to be oppressive and racist and shit, but like that's what I mean. And like that's at least what the card says to me, and that's what like that flavors text kind of says to me. So I like really was into this card, and it's extra cool that now Riel in her new art is like passing on the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? And now we get down to her new flavor text, which says, "Will the future be brighter?" asked the girl. Riel smiled. "I will teach you how to make it so." And that's really, really, really neat. Like, I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, not, you know, not putting the onus on the kid. Not like it's your job to make it better. Like not like that. Like no, we're gonna work together to make the future better. Like I'm gonna show you how you can make the future better. We're going to help each other. And that's really like, I like that sentiment a lot. And also Riel is just like so much more obviously black in this picture. I'm really into that too. Yeah, very cool card. Very happy. These are the first two cards that were spoiled in the secret layer. The rest of it actually hasn't been dropped yet. The rest of it, we get 5 more cards that haven't been revealed. They're coming back. They're going to let us know between, the 9th and the 16th, what all the rest of the details are, which I'm sure will include which the other cards are. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and tell you, I'm be honest, I'm getting this. Like, there's no universe that I don't try to get this. I might actually get this in foil. Like, the foils are a crapshoot because they can be quite curly, but I heard reports of Calderon foils have been all right. So maybe quality control issues are better. We'll see. I'll have to do a little bit of research to see whether or not I want a foil version of this, but I'm definitely getting a version of it. So that's really cool. Really neat. Speaking of passing on things to the next generation, hey, that's a segue. That's a A nice, easy 1,000 followers. All right. So we're going to. How do you ban people? Oh, can I ban this? Add friend, whisper, mod content. I can't ban that. Oh, what? Can we block you? Yeah, nice. You're out of here. Tight. Cool. I like that I get to ban spam chat like immediately. That feels good. Feels right. All right. I know how to get to go away. Ah. Well, run automatics is a bot. Everybody, so enjoy that. Okay. Cool. I want to get chat back. All right. Anyway, so moving on. Speaking of the next generation, let us talk about. Yeah. So Joe Biden is throwing out his. He's obviously doing a lot of executive orders. And we're probably talking about that on a different stream. But right now, I want to key in on something very very important. And he's actually, this is a part of the, if I understand correctly, this is the part he is. Yeah. So this is something he's trying to put through Congress, which means it's going to be picked apart and debated to death. But old Joe, it's also like the only way to get things that'll actually stick, right? Or stuff that's not going to be undone by the next administration is actually you have to enact things into law through Congress because, as we know, executive orders can just be unwritten with a pen, right? They can just boop, boop, boop. Yep. Last thing you like, that's why it's been such a big deal. And like Joe Biden has signed so many executive orders in his first few days is because everything significant Trump did in his presidency, he did through executive order because Congress is broken. So they can't actually pass anything. And you know, typically that favors conservatives because they want the status quo, and progressives typically want change. They typically need things to be passed. Whereas what we've had over the last, before, 12 years, is essentially a Congress that is non-functioning. So, basically, Trump, somebody told Trump that he could just like write things into law, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll just do that. Like, why not? Why go through the trouble? Like obviously he would back certain things put in Congress, but if Trump really wanted something done, he would just do it through like executive action. So that's why Joe Biden has been signing so many recently, is because he's having to undo all the executive actions that Trump did. And like it's that easy. That's the funny thing. It's like all those executive actions that Trump did and all that suffering that he put people through is literally just written away in like the first month of the Biden presidency because it was all executive action. You can just write that shit right back. So Biden is going to try, and also Biden like believes in the Congress, and he believes in, actually passing things through law. So like he's going to actually try to pass things through the House and Senate, like the proper way, as they say. But yeah. So Biden's plan to expand the child tax credit would help lift millions of kids out of poverty. So I was like looking at this, and like I looked at like 4 or 5 different news outlets on the story, like CSNBC and NBC, and like there's something I heard that was like very, when I first heard about this story, that was very interesting to me that like nobody else was talking about, and I found it like really striking. And so you've got your typical stuff about this story, right? We can get rid of our other images. Bye, Shalai. Bye, Riel. Bye, Facebook. All right. This is the story of a girl. Okay. Yep. Bye. 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 Okay. So, yeah, basically, this is like the kind of stuff that's in this proposal is kind of what you would expect out of like Joe Biden, according to the promises that he made on the campaign trail, right? Like, so, uh, you have 27 million children in this country who do not get full maximum amount of the tax credit because their parents do not make enough money. Says Chuck Marr, the Center Director for Federal Tax Policy, in an interview with NPR's Morning Edition. So you hear that, and it's like, wait, what? Like, that's like really, that's kind of, that gives you pause. Like you don't make enough money to get a tax credit. Like, as far as like you understand that for like businesses, right? Like, you understand that, like, I mean, I don't love it, but you understand that like a business makes so much money. Yeah, you get tax credits because your business is growing. It's an incentive for your business to grow. It doesn't make a lot of sense to punish people or to deny people a tax credit just because they're poor. It sounds like that's the opposite of what you should do. But so anyway, so this tax credit, I'll come back up to the top. Biden proposes expanding the credit for low-income households to raising of $3,000 per child and $3,600 for kids under 6. It's a part of Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID-19 economic rescue plan. It's going to reduce the number of kids living in poverty by 5 million this year and cut the child poverty in half. That sounds really, really lofty, right? But like, okay, so how is it going to work? How is Biden going to, through taxes, help out all these kids? So the interview is with the Mr. Marr here, Chuck Marr, who's the director of Center's Director of Federal Tax Policy. And it's the center, and he's from the nonpartisan group, the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. So basically, it's a nonpartisan group that like looks over tax plans and like what's going on and makes determinations based on those, right? So, yeah, you said the child tax credit was for middle class and upper income people. What did you mean by that? It says, yes, it's very simple for them. It's very simple. You get the maximum $2,000 tax credit. For the low-income people, it's more complicated because there's a formula that phases in with their incomes. So essentially, a low-income person passes the threshold of the income of $2,500, and the tax credit phases in at 15 cents on the dollar. 15 cents on the dollar. So essentially, if you didn't make enough money, you didn't get the full tax credit. So like if you made under a certain amount, you wouldn't get $2,000. You'd get like, I don't know, $600 or $1,000 or whatever. At 15 cents on the dollar at a rate too. Like, so that's not an exaggeration to think that you would get half. Like, in fact, you may get less than that. But yeah, so so what was your point of marriage? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I wanted to get down to where the actual numbers were. So there's a mix. So when you have conversations with conservatives about talking and tax policy, a lot is in favor of cutting taxes, and the government takes less of a person's money. But when you start paying money back to people, particularly poor people, some people get really strong visceral reactions to that. What are the politics of this? And he says there's a mix, and actually there's quite a lot of bit of momentum on the Republican side. I'll believe it when I see it. Prominent Republicans in the Senate have actually identified the child tax credit as an area of possible cooperation with President Biden. Senator Mitt Romney, Mitt Romney is he's the best one they got. That's like anytime they say like proud like Senate Republicans are behind something and then they name Mitt Romney, I'm like, okay, him and who else? You know, like what other Republican is behind this other than Mitt Romney? But anyway, other than Mr. Binder's full of women. Um, Anyway, Mitt Romney was the first Republican to advance a proposal to make a large share of the child tax credit fully refundable, exactly in line with the proposal that President Biden has advanced. On Thursday, Romney proposed a measure that would provide cash benefits of $350 a month for children of 5 years old, $4,200 a year, and $250 a month for kids 6 to 17 years old, $3,000 a year, and that is very much. And that is very much an entry point for conservatives from a family perspective. They see this as strengthening families, helping children, and investing in children as well. See, the problem is that this guy doesn't understand that Republicans don't want to help families and don't want to help anybody. So, like, Mitt Romney's probably going to be behind this, but, like, Republicans are going to fight this tooth and nail. There's no universe where Republicans are going to be like, giving money to poor people, not over my dead body. You know, like, there's literally no way that, McConnell is going to be behind this, even though Kentucky, his home state of Kentucky, could need this, really, really, really use this tax credit. Yeah, very cool. So let's take it, like, I wanted to get down here to the example, actually. So let's take an example. Picture a single mom with a young little toddler and then a daughter with who's in the second grade. The mom works around her children's schedule as a healthcare aide. She makes $10,000 a year. Okay, right now she receives $600 in tax credit per child, but under this proposal, she would receive $3,600 for her toddler and $3,000 for her second grader each month, and that would be about $500. That's food, that's rent, that's clothes, and that would really make a difference in these children's lives. So, like, that $3,600 and that $3,000 would be like a yearly tax credit. So that would shake out to be another $500 on and this is what's confusing, right? Because like the numbers are so absolutely fucked up right now. This $600 is what mom gets per year per child. So right now, mom is getting $1,200 total in the year. And what Biden is proposing is upping that to over $6,000 a year for this one mom, right? This is a low income person who doesn't make a whole lot of money because they work around their kid's schedule. They could stand to gain. She could turn around and get another. I mean, it's let's see, that's 12 times what she was getting, right? Yeah, almost, not quite, like more like over 10 times what she was getting, and that's $500 a month into the pocket of Americans that absolutely need it right now. A month. Think about that. They hemmed and hawed and argued with each other over $600, and half that went to like fucking small business owners. Like, how much of a difference would it make in the lives of a single mom to get an extra $500 a month? And they're talking about that's being taken out of your taxes, but they want to make this fully tax refundable, meaning that this would actually go out as payments to people. It would be unbelievable. It would be unbelievable for moms and just the economy. Like, people, like Republicans like to act like they worship the economy and they want it to do well. Dude, the economy does well when poor people have money to spend. Like, when poor people don't have any fucking money to spend, the economy is like terrible, because what do rich people do with their money? They take it away. They put it in like tax havens, and they just invest it out of the economy. And when I say out of the economy, I mean like they put it in places where it'll grow, not where it'll circle back into, like, you know, shops and going to movies and whatever. What people fucking spend money on, cars, TVs, whatever. Rich folks tend to already have that shit, so they get more money and they just save it away because they're hoarding money. Um, Whereas poor people spend it because they don't have money to save. They need things, so they tend to spend it and stimulate the economy. Um, yeah, so that's cool. It's a cool thing. It's a good thing that Joe's going to put forward. So if you hear Republicans screaming about the child tax credit and welfare queens and whatever straw man they want to put up, that's what it's about. Is that Joe's proposing something that will actually help out kids and yeah, America in general. I think we're just going to end all stories by saying it'll help America in general. All right. So yeah, Fox News sued by Smart Matic for $2.7 billion over rigged election claims. Fox News and network personalities Lou Dobbs, Maria Bartiromo, Janine Pyro. Is it Pyro? Pyro? I don't know. I don't watch that show. Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell have all been named in a lawsuit from Smartmatic, international elections company. Basically, I mean, the long and short of this is that they talked a lot of shit. Now they're getting hit. Like, I mean, come on. That's what's going on. Like play stupid games, get stupid prizes. Just lie on your network for years and years and years, and you finally lie about somebody who can sue you about it. Like, I mean, come on. This is what's going to happen. Largely sells in Europe. What I was looking to see, lawsuit makes the third time since the election that voting company has filed defamation lawsuit over conspiracy theories shared by right-wing media that falsely denied President Joe Biden had won in the 2020 election. Dominion Voting Systems, which provides equipment to 26 states, so far has sued Giuliani and Powell for $1.3 billion each. In a press conference in January, Tom Clare, an attorney for Dominion, said that the company planned additional suits. So like yeah, so like the Venezuela conspiracy theorists and the companies that like push them, their chickens are coming home to roost. Like really. And there's a reason why like Fox News and Newsmax like don't have Sidney Powell on anymore. It's because she's an actual liability. Like she's actually going to lose them billions of dollars. And like, you know, you hate to see it. All right. Hey, Lyra, what'd it do? Okay. All right. So yeah, buried the lead good enough. We're an hour in. I guess we can talk about this meeting, huh? So yeah, inside Trump's craziest meeting at the White House presidency. I'm just reading that. I don't care for the nomenclature, but you know. So yeah, we're gonna go full screen here because it's just there's not a lot of fun visuals on the story. It's just text, right? So I'm going to. Hi. All right, so we're gonna read this story, and yeah, we're just gonna go over this together, you and me. It's gonna be fun. All right. Four conspiracy theorists marched into the Oval Office. Like that. It's literally how this article starts. It was an early morning on Friday, December 18th, more than a month after the election, where had been declared for Joe Biden in 4 days after the Electoral College was met in every state to make it official. So this is before January 6th, after the election though. So like late in middle of December. Oh, well, December 18th. So middle of December. So before Christmas, but after the election, right? And four people essentially come in to meet with the president. You've got Sidney Powell. Okay. Oh, you got a visual aids. All right. That's Lou Dobbs and Rudy Giuliani. Okay. So we'll go back. Go to images. All right. So Sydney Powell, this lady, you may have seen her. you know, talking some trash like they do, and she was the one who was kind of made infamous by the claim that Hugo Chavez and God bless this person. I love her so much in the back, just disinterested in every shot that she's in. Anyway, sorry, got distracted. Anyway, Sydney Powell, she was the one who got fame, who lives in infamy over the claim that Dominion was the machines were stolen away by Hugo Chavez. Literally mentioned Hugo Chavez and like they're Venezuelan machines and they've been stolen by the communists and switched over votes and yeah, that's who Sidney Powell is, right? Hopefully you know Rudy, right? Rudy Giuliani, we know that guy. Who you may not know is I don't know. Oh wow, yeah, you just did it again. All right, going back. Cool. So we got Cindy Powell. This is her right here. Um, sorry, I gave you my face instead of showing you this person. And to reiterate, this is the person I said, God bless her. She's in every shot, and she just does not care. Like she, no one briefed her on what this was going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like she is just. She gives so little fucks about what's going on right now. Anyway, okay, so yeah, Cindy Powell is this person right here. Basically, Hugo Chavez, Venezuela, Dominion voting machines getting sued currently by the Dominion, that very company she was talking about. We got Michael Flynn, known perjurer. Um, Definitely lied to the FBI for President Trump. Uh, we know that that's just fact. They, investigated. He lied. Um, and was Trump at one point said, I don't know who that is. He was like got coffee for me or something. He's not a part of our campaign, but eventually got a pardon from Trump. Yeah, he's a freshly pardoned fella, Michael Flynn. Another like absurdly corrupt individual. As easy with lies, obviously, as Sidney Powell. And then who else we got? Yes, Patrick Byrne and Emily Newman. Is Emily Newman that person? I don't know. She doesn't come up much in this story. Oh, come on. Okay. Okay, it's I'm getting conflicting images here. Who's Emily Newman? That's funny. Is it this person? Maybe. Anyway, insignificant. She doesn't really say much in the story. The other person though that we're looking for. this this fucking guy. this fucking guy right here. This dude right here, man. Oh, this guy. This guy. I'm gonna leave. I like this picture better. This might be from this day. I actually think this is from this day. Like I think this is like a selfie he took in the White House before he went into this meeting. Like I think this is the gentleman who had parlor with the most powerful man on the planet. Okay, so anyway, four conspiracy theorists walk into the meeting. They get Trump's private schedule hadn't included appointments for Powell or the others, former aides, Michael Flynn, blah, 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 all these people. So basically, this wasn't on the schedule. But they'd come to convince Trump that he had power to take extreme measures to keep fighting. Okay? So these four people slip into this room. Unplanned meeting, not on anybody's itinerary. Something you have to know about the president is that like every second of their day is supposed to be like planned out. Like they're supposed to like literally, we're talking like 5-minute meetings with people are supposed to be like met with other 5-minute meetings. Like it just goes throughout like every second of the president's life has to be planned out, or else it's just fucking chaos because there's so much that they're supposed to have to do. Spoiler, that's not how this went. So the hours. So anyway, as Powell and others entered the Oval Office, Henchman, a wealthy business executive and former partner of Kaushowitz, Benson, and Torres, who'd been pulled out of quasi-retirement to advise Trump, quietly slipped in behind them. All right, so something you need to know about this dude, Henchman. It's Hirschman. It's not Henchman. It's a Freudian slip. Hirschman's like an old school guy, right? Like he's like the old guard of the Republicans who like wants to work in the shadows and like do typical Republican shit, which is to say like, deny, bust down some environmental regulations, shortchange their employees, typical business stuff. And they, as far as like foreign policy, they want to work in the shadows, right? Like they don't want to be overtly evil. They want people to think that they're doing a good job. That's the old guard of Republicans, right? They use doublespeak. They talk out of both sides of the mouth, but they want people to genuinely think that they're good, and they're actually pretty good at the game. For example, Mitch McConnell. People hate Mitch McConnell on the national scene or whatever. They absolutely despise that guy. And he's actively hurting the country. But if you talk to people here in Kentucky, they legitimately believe that Mitch McConnell does like good for the state. They legitimately believe that. Why? Because Republicans are really good at spinning the yarn that they care, and that's who this guy Hirschman. He's of that guard. He's a kind of like he's a business executive who is like a lobbyist who's good at selling to the American people. That basically just selling to the American people. This dude's really good at it. All right, so he's the old guard guy slipping in behind these other four people. By the way, I love how people are just mealing around at the White House now. They're just kind of like hanging out, or they were at the a month ago. People are just hanging out, like oh let's go see the president, I guess. All right, so let's see. The hours that would come would pit the insurgent conspiracy theorist against a handful of White House lawyers and advisors determined to keep the president from giving in to a temptation to invoke emergency national security powers and seize the voting machines and disable the primary levers of American democracy. Like seriously, they literally were going in here to convince Donald Trump to declare martial law. Like that's essentially what they were doing. They didn't like out say that, but they just described martial law and said that's what they wanted to do. So Trump was no longer focused on any semblance of his governing agenda. Instead of spending his days taking phone calls and meetings from anyone who had armed with conspiracy theories about the election. For the White House staff, this was an unending sea of garbage churned up from the bottom feeders. So, like, imagine working in that White House. Like literally Trump is just like, get Parler on the phone, like he's actually losing it, and literally anybody who says anything to him that that he wants to hear literally, he's going to feed into that. Like if it's a conspiracy theory that he thinks helps him or will help him because that's the weird thing about Trump. I kind of think Trump believes it. I kind of do. Or at least, okay, so here's what I think. Here's what I actually think. I think that Trump may or may not believe the things that he says initially. Like, I think he lies like drinking water. Like, he lies naturally. And it's, again, this is all in the art of the deal. This is your own words, right? So Trump lies naturally. It's one of his favorite things to do. But he keeps repeating a lie so much that you just keep repeating the lie and never apologize. Keep repeating the lie so much that people start to believe it, right? Like just never give in, never concede a point. Just keep repeating your lies until eventually somebody believes them. And the problem with that is that Trump is pretty weak-minded, so he actually starts to believe his own bullshit. He starts to actually get high on his own supply when it comes to what he's selling the American people. So I think at this point, Trump really is starting to believe that the election was stolen from him. I don't think he believed that initially. I think he legitimately was like, I think he was like, all right, well, we're gonna coup this shit, and I need to go golf about this, and he basically has convinced himself over time that the election was stolen. At least at this point, he later kowtowed. Anyway, so Powell began the meeting with the same business claim, same baseless claim that had her facing a $1.3 billion defamation suit. She told the president that the Dominion voting system had rigged the election to flip votes from Trump to Biden, and that was a part of an international communist plot to steal the election for the Democrats. Yeah, so yeah, we've got so yeah, here's a note that's really interesting too. Like a note in response to a request for comment, Poll said that in an email statement to Axios, "I will not publicly discuss my private meetings with the President of the United States. I believe that those meetings are privileged and confidential under executive privilege, under the rules of the legal profession." That's not. Moving on. I would caution the readers to view any mainstream media reports for any such conversation with a high degree of discernment and a healthy dose of skepticism. So she said, "I'm not going to talk to you, and nobody should listen to you," is what she said. I just thought that was so fucking childish to say directly in a quote about a story about a meeting you had. Like she made it a point, and they printed it too. They didn't have to print that. But they just printed it because she is so petty. They're always so petty when it comes to the media or anybody who actually wants to know what's going on, right? Because they need their lies to keep going, and they need people to believe them. So of course they hate the fucking truth tellers. All right. Powell waved an affidavit from a pile of papers on her lap, claiming it contained a testimony from someone involved in the development of rigged voting machines in Venezuela. She proposed declaring a national security emergency, granting her and her cabal of top-secret security clearances and using the U.S. government to seize Dominion voting machines. For real. She actually said that the president should just evoke power. Like, essentially, they didn't say martial law, but she wanted them to commit to declare martial law and to actually confiscate fucking voting machines with zero evidence. They've lost 60 court battles. We'll get to that. "Hold on a minute, Sydney," said Hirschman, interrupting her from the back of the Oval Office. "You're part of Julie's team, right? Is your theory that the Democrats got together and changed the rules, or is that there was foreign interference in the election?" Yeah, Rudy's legal efforts, while replete with debunked claims about voter fraud, was largely focused on allegations of misconduct by corrupt Democrats and election officials. So, like, basically, Rudy was like, in his actual court cases, like the things that they brought up in court, which they lost on, they lost every single case. He was alleging that there was misconduct and corruption by Democrats. So, like, they were doing things like saying, like, oh, yeah, the Democrats counted mail-in ballots that they told people about beforehand. And the judges were like, yeah, it's totally cool. They asked about it beforehand. Yeah, okay, but, like, then they they counted some votes after the vote day. Yes, the rules stated beforehand that the votes just had to be postmarked by voting day. Like, it was really childish, and, like, if you actually go back and read the court cases, it's actually kind of embarrassing that, like, real career like lawyers, career attorneys who, like, are obviously going to trying to do political law for their whole lives or whatever, are, like, forced to actually like defend actual nonsense, because, you know, who's going to pass up the opportunity to defend the president or to do or like work with the White House or with the president, right? So anyway, Rudy was making, because, like, when you're in a press conference or on Twitch, you can just, like, say shit, right? Like, you can just, like, say things, and you can go off on tangents, and you can, like, not connect anything, and things that you say don't actually have to make any sense, especially when you think that your audience is going to, like, connect the dots for you. And that's what, like, the weird paradox of, like, conservative media is because they both assume that their audience is really, really stupid, but also expect their audience to do a lot of the work. So, like, in Sidney Powell's press conference, you may remember, she started talking about corruption in the Democrats, but by the end of it, she was talking about Venezuela. But when you actually go to court, you have to nail down those claims, and you have to actually know what you're talking about, because this has to become verifiable, right? You have to actually back up your claims. You can't just, like, start one place, meander, and then end up in a completely different place, and then your conservative audience would be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So when we got to court, Rudy actually said, this is not a voter fraud case. And he alleged foreign interference in the not foreign interference, but corruption by the Democrats, like that the Democrats essentially cheated, and that the Democrats, like, they were saying that they found votes and that dead people voted, but the claim was that the Democrats cheated by fraudulently voting, like voting, making up votes or whatever. That's what they claimed. Well, in this meeting, Houchen is now pressing Powell, being like, "Yo, your court records, like, all of your claims in court, basically said that you guys were saying this is corruption. Is it corruption or is it foreign interference?" And Powell turns and goes, "It's foreign interference," she insisted, then added, "Rudy hasn't understood what his case is up until now. Until just now." So, like, Rudy Giuliani's not in the room, remember. So Powell, who's working directly with Rudy Giuliani, basically just claimed that their entire case is completely on its head and that Rudy has no idea what's going on. Because to say that Rudy hasn't understood what this case is about until just now, when Rudy's not even in the fucking room, means that she completely sold him down the river in front of the president. Like, basically said Rudy just has no clue where this case is. Because that's the whole point of the case. That's what they're alleging. That's what they're arguing. And to say that Rudy doesn't even understand what they're arguing, and he's supposed to be the head counsel of this case, pretty strong claim. So Houchen, in disbelief, Hirschman, I keep messing up his name. I'm going to mess up his name like 18 more times. Here it is. I'm gonna show you that dude's name. It's Hirschman. Herschmann. Hirschman. Anyway, so Hirschman, in disbelief, yells out into the aide in the outer Oval Office, "Get Pat down here immediately!" Several minutes later, White House counsel uh, Cipollone, Pat Cipollone, walked into the Oval Office. He looked at Byrne and said, "Who are you?" So a man sitting at the desk has counsel with the President of the United States. A White House aide comes in. This is supposed to be the most heavily scrutinized schedule of any person on the planet. He comes in, sees this dude sitting on the couch, and he's just like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, imagine thinking you were so important that you were going to come see the president in like a zip up hoodie, like, jacket thing. He's apparently wearing jeans, by the way. They mentioned that later on, that he's wearing jeans. And like one of the grown-ups comes in the room and says, "Who are you?" Okay, so the meeting was already getting heated. White House staff spent several weeks poring over evidence underlying. So basically, it goes on to explain that like the Powell had already been in contact with White House staff, and they couldn't find shit, okay? Like, and she didn't deliver anything. Like, she just kept saying they had evidence and then pushing the work onto the staff to find stuff. Like, she would just basically point to things, and, like, she would just say Venezuela, China, Iran, Georgia, and, like, make them go investigate, and they couldn't find anything. Just like Trump would send his lawyers out to obviously losing cases and be like, "Well, just go out and fight. Just go. It's what bad fucking generals do. They send out like their troops as like cannon fodder just into buzzsaws, even though they know they're just going to lose those troops because they're too damn stubborn and too damn proud." But anyway, Hirschman interrupted to point out that Trump had actually won the Georgia. Oh yeah, so Powell, basically like so. Hirschman is behind Powell, and he's like basically screaming that she hasn't produced anything, right? And that the aides have already like kind of poured over this stuff, and she hasn't produced anything of value, right? So, okay. So she says, fixing on Trump continues to elaborate on a fantastical election narrative involving Venezuela, Iran, China, and others. She named a county in Georgia where she claimed she could prove that Dominion had illegally flipped the vote. She actually, like, finally actually pinned down an actual county. She's like, "Hey, in X county in Georgia, you know, in Laurel County in Georgia, that's where I've got the Dominion boxes in that county, Mr. President. We got them right there. Just get that exact county, get the voting boxes out of there, and that'll tell you how we should have won the election." Hirschman interrupted her to point out that Trump had actually won the Georgia county in question. "So is your theory that Dominion intentionally flipped the vote so that we would win that county?" They really have no idea what they're doing. I'm sure she just got the county wrong. I'm sure that she just misremembered which county she was fucking talking about. But the fact that Hirschman was so easily like checked in real time in front of the president, like dunked on in real time in front of the president, like, golly, that's gotta sting. But yeah, so the meeting continues. Basically, Hirschman pulls in more White House aides to make it like 4 against 4. The room is starting to fill up. Oh, by now people are yelling and cursing. Let's see. As Powell, Trump's lawyer Matt Morgan, was patched in via speakerphone. So Matt Morgan's now on the phone. Another one of Trump's lawyers. The room's starting to fill up with people. Trump's personal assistants were summoned. Staff Secretary Derek Lyons to join the meeting, and he's asked to bring a copy of the 2018 executive order that Powell Group kept citing as their key to victory. Lyons agreed with Cipollone and the other officials that Powell's theories were nonsensical. So basically, they were trying to say, because of an executive order that Trump signed in 2018, their entire premise was that this executive order that Trump signed in 2018 somehow gave him the right to just sort of declare martial law whenever he wanted. And that's not what the executive order says. But anyway. So, yeah. So Lyons, who they basically they sent Lyons to go get a copy of this 2018 executive order. Lyons comes back and agrees with like the adults and says that Powell and Flynn and Byrne are all like really nonsensical and they're not making any sense, right? So then Flynn absolutely loses it, right? Like Mr. Lieboy, this guy, absolutely blows his lid, right? And he says, basically, he gets fired up, and he says, he turns around and he faces Hirschman. And he says, "You're quitting. You're a quitter. You're not fighting." And then he turns back to the president and he says, "Sir, we need fighters." And Hirschman, the old guard guy, it said, "All you do is promise but never deliver," he said directly to Powell. And, you know, everybody's like cross-talking and shouting at each other. And then Hirschman finally had enough. "Why the fuck do you people keep standing up and screaming at me?" he shot back at Flynn. "If you want to come over here, come over here. If not, sit your ass down." Flint sat back down. Like, "You want to take us outside, bro? You want to take us outside?" It's a meeting with the president of the United States, dude. Like, this is an actual meltdown that happened in the White House because Trump lost the election and he couldn't let it go. Like, he let the worst people come advise him and try to, like, talk him into this, and it became an absolute nightmare of a meeting. The meeting had gone completely off the rails. Byrne, backing up Flynn, told Trump and the White House lawyers that he didn't care. The White House lawyers didn't care about him and were being obstructive. "Sir, we're both entrepreneurs. We both built business. We know that there are times that you have to be creative and to take different steps." They're children. They are a children. Yeah, the remarkable level of familiarity between Byrne and the president, even though they had never, like, they literally had not met before this meeting. But, you know, literally anybody can just waltz in and talk to the president. So yeah, the meeting continues. You guys, like, they shout at each other, call like basically the Flynn and Powell crowd calling the aides quitters because they want to go with what democracy said, and the aides being like, "You guys are fucking morons." Like, and so here's my favorite part of the whole thing. All right. The meeting continues. The meeting goes on for 4 hours, okay? And continues to, like, Trump's residence. Like, they go to, like, Trump's, like, living room. They call it the Yellow Room, I think. And they continue this conversation there, and it gets even more outrageous there. But my favorite part of this meeting, and what I feel like is the climax of this meeting for me personally, and I'm wanting to end this particular story here, is at one point with Flynn shouting, Byrne raised his hand to talk. He stood up and turned to face Hirschman. He said, "You're a quitter. You've been interfering with everything. You've been cutting us off." "Do you even know who the fuck I am, you idiot?" Hirschman snapped back. "Yeah, you're Patrick Cipollone." Byrne didn't even know who he was. He said, wrong, you idiot." The staff are now on their feet, standing behind the couches, facing the crew with the real desk. Like, dude is actually out here trying to fist fight generals in front of the president, and Byrne, Mr. Overstock CEO, who also had parlor with the president, didn't even know who the fuck this guy was, and he's the aide. He's like if you're gonna go talk to the president, you should probably know who works for him. That is one heck of a story. All right. Well, it's been a lot of fun. Um, uh, let's see. Do we got anything else we want to talk about? Let's see. Off the wall meeting. Republicans. Oh yeah. Republicans gave MTG a fucking standing ovation. Yeah, she spoke in a meeting with MTG, and they all just stood up and clapped for her because they, her QAnon theories. And for those of you who don't know, Marjorie Taylor Greene is the congressperson who is the QAnon supporter. She believes, she believes that a Jewish space laser caused the California forest fires. Not an exaggeration. She believes that Democrats are a part of a cabal a cabal of people that survive on the blood of children. It's that's actually a QAnon thing. It's very reminiscent of the Jewish question. But yeah, so like that's this person, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like she obviously espouses these conspiracy theories and believes really, really racist and really, really absurd things. And Republicans like Mitch McConnell said publicly that I think he called her crazy town or something like that. Like he said he publicly rebuked what she said. And there's been a few like adults in the room Republicans, like old guard Republicans, that have like been rebuking her, but in behind closed doors, it's a feature, not a glitch. Like it's not a glitch, it's a feature. Like seriously, they want the cruelty. They want her to be quote unquote crazy or whatever. I don't like using that nomenclature, but that's kind of what that's what they want to put her out as. Like that's what they're like. She also she was also known for believing Sandy Hook was a false flag, and she's actually there's like footage of her like harassing David Hogg personally. Yep. That's who the GOP literally be standing out here. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yep. Yeah. All right. So I've gained viewers. Hello, friend. I am thinking I'm just about to jump off here though tonight because I did work a long day today. I invite you to check out the rest of the stream though. Yeah, my name's Polly Tacos. I like talking about news things and sometimes playing games like Magic the Gathering. I will be back hopefully tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna sign off for now. Y'all be kind to each other, and please remember to be kind to yourselves. Have a good one.